Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Interlocking Loops Flosstube. I'm Angela, your host. This is take number 2. It is Sunday, April 11th, 2021. Welcome one and all. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's Interlocking Loops as well. If you want to follow the Etsy shop, which is Ridgedale Farms Etsy shop, where I sell farm yarn in natural colors with our farm sheep. If you want to follow more about the specific sales and specials in the shop, or specifically about the farm life, maybe the animals themselves, that kind of thing, follow me on Instagram as Ridgedale Farms. Welcome back one and all. It's been a crazy couple of weeks. Like I said, this is take 2. I feel like I'm a little bit out of practice, but here we go. Alright, I do have some finished pieces to show this time. If you remember, I've been working on Indigo Lane by Brenda Gervais, and I've been infatuated with this piece. I love the colors in it, and I'm trying to get it out of the plastic so you can see it without too much reflection. Taupes, blues, and greens. Oh, I just love it. And I stitched it on 18 count. I believe Picture This Plus in the Sterling colorway. And here it is finished. It looks kind of like a light blue gray. And here it is. I just love it. As those of you that have been with me before remember, these are my inspiration colors for my living room furniture. And this will be one of the pieces that I'm going to have framed and hung in the living room wall. So I'm excited about that. When I had it nearly finished, I started another one. And it is in this German book. Christiane Dahlbeck. It's all in German. It has some color pictures as far as what colors to go with. And here is an example of the pattern. What a cute little rabbit with his Easter eggs as he's juggling those. So I was able to finish that as well. I finished it on Easter Day. Stitching in the season. And here he is. I used my own colors of Easter eggs just because I thought they looked springy. The yellow egg is kind of getting washed out a little bit by the light, but isn't he cute? I think he's adorable. So that was really fun to stitch, and I'm happy to have it done. It's on 14 count Aida. I believe 2 strands over 1, and that's wonderful to have finished. Since then I started on a new one, a Blackbird Designs pattern, going with the blue and green theme. Sing a Song of Seasons, Loose Feather Series for the Birds, number 5 by Blackbird Designs, in blues and greens. I have hand dyed 16 count Aida, coffee tea dyed, and it's harder to maybe, that looks a little maybe closer to representation. Has some pretty blues. They do give a conversion for the colors from Fancy Floss. I did find that one of the colors, Loden, the 642, that says it's a kind of a conversion, which is this color here. It's kind of a taupe leaning toward green a little bit. Wasn't green enough for me. I'd stitched part of the green. This lighter stuff here around here is all on Loden. These leaves down here are on Loden. I didn't like that color, so I went and looked through my stash for a color that was kind of a yellowy green, because I wanted it to look more like the picture did. More of a yellowy green in there. And so I ended up with DMC 3348, and I'll put it close to the loading, and you can kind of see the difference there a little bit. So there is quite a bit of difference. And so I took a lot of yesterday, tearing out the green that the loading equivalent that it called for. This is not the Weeks Dye Works loading, it's the DMC, supposed to be equivalent. And tearing it out meticulously with a pair of scissors, and then putting in this new, which is what I did a lot cross stitch wise yesterday. But it's coming along really well, and I'm excited to try a few more flowers. And so here's the bulk of the colors. They're real pretty. Blues and greens, some brown. The color of the flowers, part of the flowers, they're in DMC 739. And it's not that super easy to see on this fabric. But I think once I've got a few more flowers in there, more of the green and blue, you'll actually be able to see a little bit better. So that's exciting and something that's fun to work on. And I have to admit, having dyed the fabric, it does seem to shrink the holes some, and so it's a little bit harder for me to work on, especially at the end of a work day when my eyes are tired already. But I am making good progress. So we've been watching some Netflix, The Crown, and we're currently on season 3 of that. We watch an episode or two every night, and that's been kind of interesting. So, alright, so another work in progress I started just this afternoon because I wanted to try. I've been in the mood to kit up a bunch of projects. So in doing that, I tried to see what I had as far as the new things I've recently purchased, and ended up kitting up some of which the colors are called for, some aren't, just because I didn't have them. It's a Sunday. I've ordered a bunch of things, but on some of these small, I just try and kind of make do with what I have. The pattern is from the Stitching with the Housewives, the tomato seeds. They're tiered tray tidbits with the tomato seeds. I just thought that was adorable. They've got several really cute patterns, and these should be fast to stitch. It's being stitched on a 14 count chalkboard, and this actually comes from Down Sunshine Lane. So it's not a true black, kind of up next to something black, you can see that it's not black, but it's kind of a dark gray. And I feel like it gives me good contrast, and so it's coming along. So that's progress so far. So hopefully I should have this finished the next time we get together. Here are the flosses I'm using. It's a nice red. That red is DMC 347. It's a little bit more orangey than some of the reds, which I thought looked good for tomatoes. So that's going to be a fun work in progress. And that is 2 strands over 1. Now, I did say I've been in the mood to kit some things up, so today I purchased what I think will be the fabric that I will use for Spring ABCs by Little House Needleworks. I don't have it yet. The one I purchased is slightly more yellow, but I thought it'd give good contrast. I'm going to use some of my own color conversion for this. A lot of the letters are in a green. I'm going to do maybe a darker green. I thought that would look good with a little bit of more of a yellow background, and then Blue House would look good against that as well. So that will probably get started on probably next month. So, but that has been ordered. And it's been a stressful week for me at work, so I've kind of done some stress purchasing, shopping online. And the next thing I've kitted up most of the colors, but not all, because I did have to order some, is Patriotic Poppies by Brenda Gervais. Is the Patriotic stitch I wanted to do this summer on my list of 10 things for this year. And here's a picture of it. And I haven't for sure decided on the exact color of fabric, but I can show you a little bit about the colors of floss. And most of these are fancy flosses that I have partial skeins of already. So those are kind of pretty. So those are as called for in the pattern. So this blue is very nice right here. This will look nice. And who knows, because I have sheep that have spots, I may end up even putting a few spots on that sheep. You never know. So that I have almost kitted up. And another one I kitted up, which is a new purchase I talked about last time, is Scattered Seeds Out on a Limb Pin Keep. This one with yet more green foliage and some blues, which will look nice in my living room. And I'm doing that all in DMC. And here are the primary colors with it. Another nice blue in there. I think that'll look nice. It's exciting to see projects that you're getting ready to start. I did also order the flosses as called for the Pink Sparrow Sampler by Brenda Gervais. Here's what that one looks like. It has a little more pastel colors to it, but I ordered those to have it kitted up. What else? I'm a little late to the party in buying Oh Joyous Day by Blackbird Designs, but I've seen so many finished pieces that I don't think the printing on here really gives it justice compared to some of the ones I've seen that are so pretty. But I have almost all the flosses for that. Most of those are DMC conversions. But you can see that'll be lovely. Simply lovely. And I know I've had some people ask me about how I'm doing this. So I used to be a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, so I've got lots of paper punches. I've taken one of the flower punches and it's double-sided on some of the paper. It's not cardstock, it's thinner than that. I've glued them together, and one tends to have kind of almost like a paper line. I don't know if you can see the lines on there, but there are lines on there. And Blackbird Designs does mention fancy floss colors and a conversion color to DMC. So what I've done on the backs of each one of those is, this one for example is supposed to be similar to Weeks Dye Works in the Caper colorway. It's DMC 3051, and I've written it on there. And I've done it all in pencil, because if I find some of the conversions, if I don't think they're close enough, then I may just go ahead and get the fancy floss or substitute in something else. But aren't these colors pretty? I think that's half the fun with it. I have ordered, I think the fancy floss equivalents for, it calls for Brick and Red Pear. And I had the DMC equivalents, but I have ordered the fancy floss for those, just because I think those on this piece have a bigger impact, and I'm willing to do that. But I think that's going to be pretty, pretty, pretty. So as you can tell, I have some plans. Alright, as far as other purchases, I talked about purchasing one from the Housewives of Cross Stitch. I purchased a second one. These are all downloadable. You can print at home. The Flower Market. And that's in a pretty pink truck. I don't know, there's something about this one I really like too. So that may be something I could start in the month of May as well. It looks like all her zinnias. You know how Priscilla loves her zinnias. I do too. So that's something that I also have purchased. I also ordered going back to how I've done with the flosses on here, I've cut them to about 18-inch lengths. What I have done, I ordered from threadmilkdesign.com, one of their rulers. And so you start your DMC floss hanging just off the end, wind it around till you've got it all wound and end up with another tail at the end. Then you cut it where both of those tails hang, and then you can gather up at the top, and then you can put it on however you want to design your floss, and it's in roughly 18-inch segments. So that's what I have started doing. And actually, I think it does take a little bit more time to do it this way, but I do find that organization of that to be quite enjoyable, and I spent quite some time this afternoon doing that. It's just kind of, I don't know if it's rhythmic, if it's exactly relaxing, but I really enjoyed it, so you might too. I also ordered from Dying to Stitch a kit from Samplers Not Forgotten, Floral Heart Kit. Back when they were taking pre-orders before market, and I wanted to be sure that I have it. So I've got the flosses, I have the fabric for finishing, the entire fabric for stitching, all included in the kit. Sorry for the crinkle. You probably all have seen that. But these roses are in pink. I think it's maybe harder to see that, but they're really pretty with a nice pink ribbon. So, and that's a floral heart by Samplers Not Forgotten. Don't I have some fun stitching ahead of me? Okay, let's see. That's a lot of it for stitching. I can show you more of the fabrics and more of the flosses next time. Let's talk about other crafts a little bit. As well, everybody knows I do a fair amount of knitting, and I'm a very prolific sock knitter. It's usually my take-along project as I go to work. Some socks I knit just because I like the pretty colors. Some of them I think will go with my work shirts. And this is one of the finished socks, and I tend to stitch usually on DPNs from the cuff down. These are 2x2 ribbing, so knit purl 2 ribbing, 64 stitches circumference, then plain knitting. Then there'll be a heel flap that I will make, and that's the next section for me to make a heel turn, gusset decreases, straight knitting for the foot, and then decreasing for the toe. And I just love blues and greens. This is showing it pretty well considering where the light's coming through the window beside me. This specific yarn, I always want to make sure it's Look Ma No Pink as a colorway, and it's from Freckled Whimsy, and that's FRECKLEDWHIMSY.com. It's in her Serendipity base. It's a four-ply fingering, 75% superwash merino, 24% nylon. And here's kind of what it looks like all balled up, the pink, or the greens and the blues and the natural. I do like some self-striping yarn. And these are knit with Clover DPNs, 2.25 millimeter needles, otherwise known as US1. So that's coming along really well. I really like those. I have it to the point, when I start every Monday, I like to have the project to the point that it's easy to pick up and go. And Mondays are hard enough as it is. So I'm ready to do the heel flap when it comes to tomorrow, part of my lunch break. The last thing I purchased, which has been kind of a splurge, I was at Walmart today, and I'll talk more about that in a minute. I purchased some of the fabric. It's 100% cotton duck fabric, 2 yards from Waverly Inspirations. It's kind of a canvas that I'll make another good sized tote out of that. Aren't those colors pretty? And that's from Walmart. So they're all in 2-yard sections. So the reason I was at Walmart is my daughter's graduation is in about 3 weeks, and I'm trying to get a few things for her for graduation, get a few supplies ready for graduation as well. So I spent well, unfortunately, more than an hour in Walmart today, kind of going around and thinking about it as I would shop. And I had called my mother from one of the aisles to consult with her on some of the items too. We're very close, and she's better at maybe organizing these things than I am. So she's kind of my right-hand person when it comes to that kind of thing. What else? What else has gone around here? So my daughter has roughly, 2 more weeks of class before finals, and then she's done with her senior year of college. I can't believe it. She's been in 2 outdoor track meets so far. This last one that was yesterday had some rain to it, and parents were able to go, except I wasn't going to sit in the rain. It rained here all day long yesterday. We had just right at 1.5 inches of rain, and it was cold. It was probably 45 degrees outside, no steady rain. It was kind of miserable. But she's done well with her track, and the coach is happy, and she's exceeding coach's expectations too, so that's good as well. As far as the farm, we did finish up shearing on Good Friday, and that's a wonderful thing. That's very laborious for my husband and I. We've done it up to this point, but I think the next time we shear, we're going to actually pay some help to help us out with that. So the day after Good Friday, let's see, the 3rd of April, we went up to the Amana colonies. I live in Iowa, and the Amanas are a couple hours away, and we did a little bit of shopping and touring shops. We bought some ice cream at one place, a loaf of bread at another place, my mother's birthday gift, and yes, my mother is watching. Welcome to your first apartment gift for my daughter, as she'll be moving into like her first grown-up apartment toward the end of the summer. Did that. Just had a really enjoyable day. Didn't spend a lot of money, but really enjoyed just kind of bumming around, spending time with my husband, and that was a great day. And then Easter, spent that with my parents. We had a cookout at their house. It's just my husband and I and them, and that's good. Since then, both of my kids have also had the COVID shots. I had mine months ago. My husband has his already, and now both of the kids have had theirs. So we're feeling pretty good on that front to be able to get together with friends for her graduation. It'll be a small gathering again, but we're looking forward to that. They said rain or shine unless it's storming. If it's storming, they're going to cancel it altogether. So fingers crossed. It starts at 10 o'clock in the morning, and typically it's pretty cool then. So hopefully it'll come along really well, and the weather will be nice. So let's see. My son has about 3 weeks left of his spring semester, and then he's done. He'll be coming back up here. And while the graduation is in person, it is being streamed. They have a limit of 4 people going. It's actually going to be my parents and my husband and I. My son will be at my sister-in-law's house with several other, her kids, her family, my brother-in-law, and another brother-in-law, and they're all going to watch it streamed. So he'll be cheering them on then. So a whole lot of stuff, last details. She's picked the program at this grad school she's going to go to. She was accepted into 2 of those and did have to pick one of those. She's waiting on a revised contract for the work she'll be doing at the university. When she does get there, I'm not the one doing it, but boy, I seem to be pretty wound up about it. Really exciting. So as far as the remainder of the farm, we haven't done much with the official garden. We have done things in the greenhouse. Primarily my husband. We have kale growing. We have several lettuces. We have a couple tomato plants. You can see more about that on Instagram, that Ridgedale Farms Instagram of ours. I did put some pictures of what's going on in the greenhouse. I have bought several zinnia seeds. They have not arrived yet. I expect them this week. And I actually let my mom know I'm going to have plenty of zinnia seeds. I couldn't decide on different packets, so I have like 4 or 5 packets coming. So we're going to be covered with zinnia seeds. It'll be great. So I often feel bad when I've had flowers that I've needed to cut to bring in the house, even though that's specifically why I've bought them. But zinnias thrive with being trimmed that way. It encourages more blooming, so I feel less bad about that. And I can have bouquets for myself, my mother, whatever. They're just really pretty. Let's see. I have a list of things I want to talk about, and I think we've pretty much come to the end of that list. I don't know for sure what my recording schedule is going to be over the next month. We're having some changes at my work, which may mean a change in hours, which in general means I work more hours, later hours, a little less time crafting. We'll just have to see how things go. My son will be back by then, and he'll be staying with us most of the month of May. Transitioning our daughter from one apartment to another apartment. The interesting thing is she graduates, but there's still 2 more weeks left of her outdoor track season. So she still will be up at campus, but she has to move out of where she is now into a different location. And then she's working there for the summer and may need to move a second time into a different housing. So we've got a lot of crazy going on. But with any luck, I'll be back in 2 to 3 weeks, and we can talk more about what's been going on and how plans are coming and what supplies have arrived, what things I have kitted up, and what things I have finished and started. Until then, happy crafting. Bye-bye.